such speed skating program. He says all the support he's received.
So folks, good morning. Here we are heading on towards our day of fishing in the Squamish River. Just heading around the corner from Horseshoe Bay into just beautiful Howe Sound. So we'll give you a few tidbits along the way, and hopefully we'll catch some very big fish as we're heading up the Squamish River.
You're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. 'Cause you're a sky, 'cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the path.
One of the unique things about the Squamish area and the Squamish River is that it is actually a river and a fjord that was dominated and still dominated by glaciers. Our fishing adventure is dictated by the behavior of glaciers that once filled this sound. In fact, we're here at Porto Cove, and if you look across to that mountain over there, there's a small island. And between here and that island is a ridge. And that ridge is full of rocks, similar to the stuff that you see here, because this is the spot where the glacier paused for quite a long time and simply dragged the rocks from the mountains way up in the Howe Sound area and dropped them in a ridge that goes from here to the little island right across the street, or strait. And so even today, the glaciers form the basis of the fishery in the Squamish River. And what happens is during the summertime, of course, when the glaciers are starting to melt, we're dealing with glacial flow and high water conditions. But right now, the glaciers are back, getting some snow, rebuilding, and so the water levels drop and clear up. And that's what gives us our fishery for the bull trout, rainbow trout, sea run cutthroat, and the salmon that come up the Squamish River along with steelhead. So from here to Porto Cove, we're going to be heading over towards Squamish, and we'll see you in Squamish. So here we are, just at the entrance to Squamish, and this is another example of how glaciers have formed this valley. This nice smooth rock that you see here with the lines and scratches going that way was actually scraped and scratched and scraped and rounded and shaped by the glacier that flowed out of this valley and on towards the Pacific Ocean. And you see this feature and features like this all along the valley. If you look up onto the hills, they're actually quite rounded because the glacier ice went over top and scraped the sides of this valley. So this is definitely a trip that's influenced by glaciers. Quite different is Diamond Head, which you see in the distance here, was able to stay out of the glacier and thus have its really nice sharp peaks. And when you see Diamond Head, you know you're getting close. One of the other features of this trip, when you come into Squamish, is you're going to come face to face with the Chief. This has got to be one of the most popular rock climbing hills in Western Canada. It's probably the second biggest single piece of granite other than the Rock of Gibraltar in Spain. So if you're not into fishing and you're into rock climbing or you want to take a break, this is the place to go. You just got to have a good strong stomach to make it up those cliffs. So before you go fishing, you definitely need to get some good Java. And the best thing to do is find a place that serves it.
'Cause you're a sky full of stars. I wanna die in your arms. You get lighter the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart.
So here we are, entering the Squamish Valley, and there's your first good look at one of the glaciers. A beautiful shot, and this is why it's called Glacier Valley at this point. So morning, we're back here at our spot. We're going to be crossing the river, but as you can see, we weren't the first ones here. It looks like the elk definitely were walking around and enjoying the fresh snowfall. So if we're lucky, we might even get to see them today. Well, good morning again. Here we are at perhaps the most exciting part of the day, getting geared up. The easiest thing to do is to get your waders on. At the end of the day, it's probably the hardest thing is to get your waders off. So we're at our spot. We're going to cut across, hopefully get across the river because the level has dropped. The cold weather has slowed down the flow. It's cleared right up. We're just checking our gear, making sure got some good leader line, pliers, and some cleaning stuff for our fly line, and just getting the boots on, getting dressed, and getting ready to head out onto the river. See you there soon. So here's some interesting things to look for. As you can see, the elk came up out of the river and we're actually pawing away at the base of this stump, looking for, I guess, some things to nibble on. But the elk are pretty close by, so again, we're going to keep our eyes open, and who knows what we might see out there. day still. It's been up around -1 to -2, and what you can see is my eyes are starting to ice up, and when that happens, kind of messes up your cast. So you know you have to keep the eyes clean, break that ice off, and it'll help the efficiency of your cast an awful lot. Nonetheless, that last fish, my camera battery kind of went dead, and I'm not sure if I got it on the film, but we're now going to cast the back end of the pool, and actually it picked up that last fish just in about 1.5 feet of water. So we don't necessarily need to go that deep, but that's where we're going to try and pick out at least 1 or 2 more fish as we go along. So the next spot we're going to try and fish is up against that bank. We're not going to neglect the shallow water, but we want to get up against that structure, and hopefully there's a couple of big rocks in there, and we'll have some bull trout sitting in behind them, just waiting for the lure to come by. Okay, we're at this pool. Oh, there we go, there we go. There we go. There is a decent fish on the line. Oh, he's pulling good. There you go. Oh, he's a beauty. This one is a beautiful fish. Oh. There we go. What a nice bull trout. Just look at the nice spots on him. Beautiful fish. And we're just gonna go let him go. Beautiful. This is another good fish. Go. second one out of this hole. Just a beautiful bull trout. So we're gonna give it some more. See what happens. Just took that right on the tip. He's a good looking fish. We're gonna do this again. There he is. Free off, and away he goes. That was a good 3-4 pounds. Well, might be a little late for this guy, but it just shows you that the coho got up this far, at least anyway. He's been chewed on by something, but don't know if there's too many coho in here at this time of year. So we're down a couple hundred yards from where I got those nice 2 bull trout. We're into a big run here that doesn't actually look that deep. When you look at the rocks, there's a lot of big rocks here on the shoreline, and that extends out into the pool. And what that does is that gives a lot of backwash and a little slows down the velocity right on the bottom. So the fish are sitting in there under those, behind those rocks, just waiting for somebody to come along. And sure enough, on my first or second cast into it, something big hit it, came right to the surface. It was a nice square tail. So I'm going with that. I either lost a really nice big resident rainbow, or there was an early steelhead there that gave my rod a good hammer. But unfortunately, I don't have anything to show for it. So we're gonna go back out, see if we can pick one out of there. If not, we're gonna head downriver and follow it down to the bend and see, because there's a pool way down over there, and that's where we're gonna end up for the day. Okay, I have high hopes for this hole. And, pretty good. And actually caught a lot more than the size indicates, but we'll take them. I've got high hopes for this hole. This is just the start of it, and he's going back in the water. There you go. Say goodbye, fish. That was fun. Well, there you have it. Could have been the big one. Anyway, have fun fishing. So, here we are, the hardest part of the day, the end, trying to get our waders off and stuff. You know, I was at the river there, the last hole. I was just trying to take, you know, the romantic last shot where you're casting in the water. There wasn't even supposed to be a fish there, and it was a frickin' big fish, and he hit my line right when I was supposed to try and end this day and end the sequence of things. He was just a frickin' big fish, and he took me by surprise. I got all tangled up and everything, and that's the way it goes. Completely ruined my script. But if that guy's out there next time, you can bet I'm gonna be after him. And you guys have fun, because it sure is fun fishing for bull trout on the Squamish. Tight lines, guys.